everyone. Welcome to Trinity's Chat and Chew Book Review. This is Janice Ocamb. How do we know that the Judeo-Christian Bible is real and can be trusted? After all, it's not the only holy book in existence. Archaeologists have found multiple Bibles or codes of conduct were created to direct the social, ethical, and moral conduct of ancient people. The Code of Hammurabi is an example. Archaeologists have also found that over the centuries, people believed in many different gods. The ancient Egyptians believed that their pharaohs were gods. Muslims believe Allah is God. During World War II, the Japanese people believed that their Emperor Hirohito was God. And more recently, members of the Heaven's Gate cult believed Marshall Applewhite was God. Belief systems, standards for living, and deities are countless and can stem from ancestral tradition, inspiration in nature, or human fabrication. We're free to take our pick. So what makes Yahweh, Creator God, and His revealed word in the Old and New Testaments authentic as compared to any other Bible or God or myth? Hi friends, Trinity's Chat and Chew Book Review has been created to offer brief summaries of discussion of books that are interesting, edifying, or inspirational. And it can include books that are considered religious or secular, but all of them will have themes that are in some way interesting and edifying. Just to give you a little background, Pastor Arun asked if I would be interested in creating this podcast. He knew I had started a book club some years ago, which includes a group of readers who select a book, read it, and then get together to discuss it. So we took that general idea and put it into a podcast format so that people could access it anytime and anywhere. In 2013, I received my master's degree in biblical studies from Lancaster Bible College. So just to start off the series, I'll be reviewing books that emphasize or contribute to the reliability of the Bible. Can we really rely on the Old and New Testaments to be trustworthy? The books that we will review answer yes to this question. And closely related to this is a defense of our Christian faith. One of the books is titled Proofs of God. This book is fairly new, and it's authored by Douglas L. He spells his last name E-L-L. But Douglas L. has degrees in math and physics from MIT, and he had been an atheist. But the more he learned about the natural world and considered it from his highly scientific perspective, he realized that it could not have happened by chance. This realization turned him away from his non-belief, and he became a believer in God. And he explains this in his book, Proofs of God. Another title that will be reviewed is The Case for Christ by Lee Strobel. This book has actually been around for a while and is considered a classic, but Strobel, who also at the time was a non-believer, was a highly respected reporter, and with his investigational expertise, he decided to do some research on the life of Jesus. Now, he did this with the idea that he would be able to debunk the claim that Jesus had been resurrected from the dead, and perhaps even discredit the idea that Jesus was a real person at all. But when he started researching and interviewing, he found that the evidence pointed him in the exact opposite direction. The evidence showed that Jesus was a real person. He really was crucified. He really did die. And he really was raised back to life. Strobel became so convinced of this that he turned away from his non-belief and was actually able to make The Case for Christ, which is the title of his book. In addition to these, I'll start off the series with another relatively new book by Titus Kennedy. It's entitled Unearthing the Bible, 101 Archaeological Discoveries That Brings the Bible to Life. This book is an interesting starting point because what the author has done is showcase more than 100 significant archaeological discoveries that supports what's recorded in the text of the Old and New Testaments. And what's especially interesting and I think compelling is that many of these discoveries come from what are called extra-biblical sources. This means that they are not sources from ancient biblical manuscripts, but are discoveries from a wide range of secular sources. They could be in the form of statues or altars, inscriptions or scarabs from ancient Egypt. They could come from finds of jewelry, weapons, tools, or coins from the Assyrians. Or it could be in the form of manuscripts or papyri, but they're from secular historical records. All of these extra-biblical sources provide bits and pieces of tangible evidence that shows the Bible is true and reliable. Here's an example. In the book of Acts, chapter 13, verse 7, a reference is made to a man named Sergius Paulus. Now, I've read the book of Acts a number of times, but I have to admit that I do not remember Sergius Paulus being named. I do remember the other person mentioned in the section, a sorcerer or false prophet named Bar Jesus, but that would be a whole other podcast. So, Sergius Paulus. The verse indicates two things about him. He had the title of proconsul, which means he was an important official of some sort. And it also indicates that he specifically asked to see the Apostle Paul because he wanted to learn more about God. This is the only place in the Bible where he's mentioned. And there's nothing super theological or spiritual about it. Luke, who was the author of Acts, had apparently observed that this important official was very interested in learning more about God, so he recorded it. What is extremely interesting and important is that extra-biblical evidence has been found that supports the existence of this man. Archaeologists found a Latin inscription in Rome that specifically mentions Sergius Paulus. He's mentioned along with 4 other men who were directors of water management in Rome. His full name was Lucius Sergius Paulus and had a son who was named after him. And this son is mentioned on a second inscription. That inscription was found in 1912 in a dig that was being conducted in the ancient city of Antioch. The second inscription reads, "To Lucius Sergius Paulus the Younger, son of Lucius, one of the 4 commissioners in charge of the Roman streets, tribune of the soldiers of the 6th Legion." Both inscriptions were dated about 48 AD, which is when Paul was making his missionary journeys throughout the Roman Empire. The point is that if the Bible is historically accurate, with even seemingly insignificant details, such as the name of this official, and that the corroborating proof of accuracy comes from multiple, independent pieces of evidence, this gives us confidence that the Bible can be trusted regarding the rest of what it says. While faith plays the biggest role in our beliefs, it's interesting to learn about the physical evidence that has been found, and this is what Titus Kennedy explores in his book, Unearthing the Bible. I'll cover Kennedy's findings in more detail during the next 2 podcasts, the first focusing on discoveries that support the Old Testament, and the second on the New Testament. So, welcome to Trinity's Chat and Chew Book Review, where we'll chat about the topics at hand, and on occasion have special guests to chew over the details presented. All of this is with the idea to share insights and give listeners a sense of what a book is about and help you determine if it's something you want to investigate for personal learning or small group discussion.
Thank you for listening. If you have questions or comments, a word of encouragement, or want to recommend a book for review, please notify us at livescoops@trinityumnc.com. That's livescoops@trinityumnc.com. God bless and take care.